Hello again. Welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So today we had Knights of Equitaine versus the Empire of Sonnstahl again. This was a very, very good game. It was between Dan, again, playing Empire of Sonnstahl, and myself. My name is Mark. Sir MC 2015 on the Ninth Age forums. And, of course, I was playing the Knights of Equitaine. So over here we actually have our armies, and last time he and I spoke was more of a friendly game. We're going up to it's called Judgment Day up in New York, and he's like, you know what? I'll make a more competitive list. So this was his competitive list. It was I felt it's similar to his other list, but it was a lot of fun to play against. I mean, whether I was winning, losing, it was just fun. It was fun. I felt like it wasn't overpowering. It was fun. I saw its synergy. I did my best to try to shut things down and maneuver around him. And both of us had good luck and bad luck throughout the game. So that's about all the foreshadowing I'll give, and that's not much. So going from right to left, he's got two cannons there in the back. He's got his unit of, well, they were called demigriffs. I'm not sure what they're called now. He's got his unit of special knights, the ones that are have bodyguard, 2 attacks each, 1 up armor, 20 crossbowmen. He's got a unit of wolf riders, which are his fast cavalry, there in the back. He has that lovely chariot style thing that gives distracting to all models within 6 inches. 2 units of militia, a unit of 40 halberdiers with I believe, full command. And he's got 15... They were called flagellants before. I don't know, fanatics. I'll just call them fanatics this game. He's got another unit of 40 sword and board. I don't know, Empire Knights. They used to be called Great Swords, but the Empire Knights that have bodyguard to them. He's got 5 scouts there in the back that can shoot twice. He's got his general on a warhorse, a level 2 mage out of Wilderness, and he has a BSB in there as well. So those are his characters. Oh, that great sword unit also has the Razor Banner as well. So let's see. Over here, I still don't know. I have to get those dead things off of there. So disregard the unit of undead and that black mass, which is my half-painted Knights of Forlorn, because they are not in this game. So I have, going from my, again, right to left, I have a unit of 11 archers. That unit actually has a champion, and I forget that it has a champion the entire game. I have 1 unit of mounted yeomen down there, which are going to be played by wood elves. And even the tournament that I'm going to, I need to figure out, because I can't get those mounted yeomen models anymore. I only have an additional 2 or 3. So I'm going to end up short. So I may just end up painting them and using them and say, hey, look, Elven Allies. I have 2 units of peasants with sword and board, no command. Another unit of mounted yeomen. And I have 1, 2, 3 units of Knights of the Realm, standard, champion, and the one... Well, just pick one. It doesn't matter which one. One of them has the Banner of Courage. And the last group of 6 knights all the way in the back there, those are my Grail Knights. That they actually have some, I think the Flaming Lance, and my characters. So I retooled out my characters. I know I said, this is my list. And then I thought about, I wasn't using my Forlorns the way I should use the Forlorns. And because they always strike last, they're going to die. I'd much rather have a unit that hits on initiative or something else. Even a unit of peasants, I think, has more staying power. And whereas nice if they're able to hit in the flanks, but being on foot, they should be there in the middle taking a blow. And even with the blessing, 4 up armor save, they would just die too quickly before I would be able to get a return. I'm not sinking enough points into that unit, excluding the characters. So that's why that unit's not being played. So I have my general, who will be Breslin, who's the Green Knight with a rat ogre's head and entrails from his lance. Back there, his back's to us right now. And the way I have him now, he has Valor. So he has to issue a challenge and accept challenges. He turns around and gets to reroll his hits and wounds. He has a King's Sword, so he has +1 attack and +1 strength for every character he's in base contact with. He has, I forget the name of the actual armor, but he has a rerollable 1-up armor save, and he's a Grail Knight, so has the Grail Vow. He has a weapon skill 7 5-up ward save. And he also has the Divine Icon as well. So he's kitted out for those challenges to kill those characters so that the other units no longer have Steadfast or have Bodyguard, because that's what's killing me. He also has a Lance, so he's designed to go in, get the charge off. They're going to accept with that unit champion. He's going to kill the unit champion using his Lance. Next turn, he's going to turn around, switch over to the sword, because by then he'll have the character in base contact. He'll be strength 5, 5 attacks, and that's that. So there you have my BSB, who's got the hardened shield. He has the hero sword. So again, 4 attacks, strength 5, 1-up armor, lucky charm, so you can reroll one of those armor saves. He has a blessing, so he automatically comes with a ward save. So again, very happy with him, and I think he has the flaming standard right now, so that whatever unit he's with can kick on flaming attacks or not. I have that in my army specifically for regen. Regen is something, you know what, if I'm able to turn around and get rid of that, that's what I want to do. Otherwise, that 4-up ward save with the Vargalox, the Hydras, Trolls, things like that, that's why he's in there. I have a level 2 mage out of Heavens, and this time I gave her the spell scroll. I did not give her the additional spell. Pardon me. I have my level 4 mage. This time all she has is Tomb of Arcane Lore. Or not Tomb of the Book of Arcane Power. So she has +1 to cast and dispel. And I upgraded that one paladin who was on foot onto horse, gave him a lance, shield. He has a 2-up armor. He has Virtue of Might. And what else does he have? This is not my list. Bear with me just one quick second, because I have my list right over here. How else did I kit him out? He has... He's not on this list. All right. So, oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Too many lists. I've been tinkering and trying to figure out, because Equitaine is such a hard army to play with sometimes right now, and I've always played. I mean, Bretonnia has never been an easy army, but I definitely felt that they gotten a little bit harder. If you notice, I have no Peg Knights or anything else. They're not worth the points as for what they do. Okay, you can use them for anti-chaff. Well, I have enough anti-chaff stuff. I have my peasants, and they're a lot cheaper than that. I have small lances. I don't need anything else. I don't have a Grell Death Star either. It's or Grell Star as it's been dubbed up on the boards. So this is kind of what I'm tinkering. My opponents seem to think that this is probably one of the best lists I've put together so far. So that Paladin, getting back, has Virtue of Might, Crystal Ball, Screaming Sword. So here's the thing is, the wielder causes fear. Okay? So he's now causing fear. So all of a sudden I will have 3 units on the board that are going to be immune to fear, and one of which will cause fear itself. To me, that's really big because that -1 leadership. I have Blizzard, that's an extra -1 leadership, so all of a sudden that's a -2 leadership if done correctly. I can make that work. Okay, so all of a sudden that leadership 8 or leadership 9 or 10 is now a leadership 8. And then you add combat res. I'll be very happy with that. So 2 trebuchets, a unit of peasant skirmishers, bowmen, 10 strong. So here's how the board looks. We had classic deployment, and we had to place 2 objective markers. You really can't see the objective markers. One's placed behind the hill, behind the back right there, and the other one is... It's not far from... It's like right behind that hill in the middle, close to my vanguarding bowman there. So we did started doing place, 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 and then he was down to his last couple. He had like 7 drops left. I knew where they were going. Okay, it was obvious. He left that space there in the middle of the board. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to drop everything. Have a good idea as to what you're going to be doing. And the reason I did that is I didn't want him automatically getting first turn. I actually pushed myself as if I could get first turn. I didn't. He ended up with first turn, but be that as it may. So turn 1, the Empire of Sonnstahl. He turns around, he moves up as such. He just kind of shimmies. He's throwing up the militia. And that thing with the dice sitting on it, that's actually a ruins. It's a cool looking ruins. And that's what we're playing it as. So I wasn't quite sure what he was doing with his dogs. At the same time, I know he didn't want to charge through there because Dangerous Terrain Test 1-2. And I also had that unit of knights sitting in the back there. So shooting phase, or magic, nothing happens during the magic phase. Shooting phase, those crossbowmen just obliterated those poor peasants. Obliterated them. Those yeomen never had a chance. Over here on this side, those other bowmen took out 2. They ran and ran straight through the knights who were like, I don't care. And peasants were like, oh wow, knights telling me to stay still. Okay. And with my generals being right there in that as well. So now it's Equitaine's turn 1. I turn around, I edge up. I screwed up here. I should have actually had my that one bus in there in the middle a little bit over to the left so that those whatever they're called, I had to charge the front. The militia had to charge the front and therefore block the demigriffs. That was my intention, and I screwed it up. I gave them too much room so they could charge right past me into the peasants. And I think I don't have a picture for the next one. So he ends up charging my peasants the next turn and then charging those knights there in the middle. I made an error. However, during the magic phase, I kind of figured he was going to try to get the demigriffs in on the knights, so I cast Oaken Throne, which he allowed to go off, and then he stopped, I think, Blizzard or one of my other spells, and then I went and got Stone Skin up on my general's unit there. So all of a sudden now they are Toughness 7. And that was it for magic. Yep, see, there's the Oaken Throne, there's Stone Skin, and over here, those peasants. I love my peasants. They're still meant to die, but so we're doing the Mexican shoot off. I ended up killing one of them, even though he did kill my yeoman, but the yeomen were out in the middle, and that my trebuchet shot drifted and only killed 8 of his halberdiers, and now it's his turn too. So, as I said, he's charging my peasants. I flee with my peasants. They only run 3 inches. I just looked at them like, oh my god, 3 inches. So they actually get caught by the militia. And he had charged the knights as well. And with that said, with him charging the knights, so again, my thought process was I flee with my peasants. They pop through to the pond. And then he would end up screwing up his own charge on the Knights of the Realm there with the general and BSB, or yeah, that was literally it. I didn't even consider failing as miserably as I did, getting caught and getting charged the way that I end up being charged. Anything else happen? No. Oh, my other trebuchet had done a misfire with Betsy, so she was facing the other way to begin with, but that's why. And then there's that. So here's him moving charges. So again, he caught those unit of peasants. Ground knights don't care. Actually, knights in general just don't care. He moves into that other charge, and he maneuvers up as such. A lot of his stuff kind of stayed still. And this was his shooting phase. He turns around and takes out one of my knights. One cannon misfired. The other cannon missed. So, getting to close combat here. He turned around. He'd had that charge off. He has strength 6, strength 5, armor piercing. He doesn't do a single wound to me. I mean, he did have a couple sixes in there, but I made my ward saves, so I didn't lose a single knight. I was extremely happy about that. So this is where I'm sitting right now. I turned around and I parked myself. I was looking at my options. There's a frontal charge on that death rig. I hate that thing. Distracting is so good. But anyway, hindsight's 2020. You know, in retrospect, I probably should have charged that and then fled because I still had enough other knights on the board. And without that, that's a large part of his defense right there. That I actually would be all right. But I turn around, and so it's beginning of my turn. I'm going to end up charging into his knights with his general. I know I need to break that unit. I know they're stubborn. And I already have my game plan. It's like, all right, I'm going to kill the unit champion. Then I'm going to turn around and kill his general the following turn, and then keep moving. So here it is, Equitaine turn 2. Let's see, do I have any other charges? So I charged with my ground knights. I did charge that unit of militia that killed my peasants up on the hill, and they marched through my busts of Knights of the Realm with my general. And it's dangerous terrain test. And he's like, okay, I only lost 3. I'm like, no, it's 1 through 3 they die. He only had 3 alive. So he goes, crap. So job well done. At least I did that there right. And let's see. And that's it. So there are those 3 that died. Picture out of order. He killed another 2 knights during his shooting phase. And I actually do try to get a charge in with them. Oh no, picture's not out of order. I declare a charge on his crossbowman, hoping to be able to hit his crossbowman, and he does a stand and shoot and kills 2. I knew it was like a 7 to reach them. That was it, and I failed. Oh my god, I failed. But my peasant, pretty sure my peasants over there also did charge his wolf riders. So over here, I move in for the charge, and let's see, magic. I put back up stone skin. So again, that's going to save my bacon. You'll see here shortly. I kill another one of his crossbowmen, and I don't know why I have this picture here. All right. Oh, yeah, no. So I turn around, I kill his champion, I kill one other guy on the charge. Now, here's the thing is, they've got a 1-up, so it's a 4-up armor save. And I was wounding, and I even had that Curse of the Westerlies on them, so they had to re-roll their armor saves, and he was still making them like nuts. But regardless, I won combat. They're steadfast, leadership 9, BSB's right there, so they hold. And that's how the board looks. I did not charge that turn, so this is now his turn. He's going to end up charging my ground knights with that monstrosity, or that chariot that gives everything distracting. So he ends up charging the ground knights. And let's see. He ends up charging my peasants with his halberdiers, and he goes for the long bomb for the flagellants into the side of the peasants. I really didn't think he needed like a 10 or 11. He gets it. Should have known better. That's all I can say. Should have known better. And that's how the board looks. He moves up his wolf riders. And there's that lovely charge. There's that colorful mass surrounded by nothing but white. Over here, so he continues shooting at that one. So again, his magic phase, I pretty much stopped his magic the entire game until I had to start making choices when it mattered. I think he actually. So over here, he turns around. He gets his shoots at my knights of the realm, leaving me a single knight of the realm that panics and flees from the crossbows. And then he's like, you know what? I've got nothing else to really shoot at. I'll shoot at it with a cannon. He finally hits with a cannon and kills the one remaining knight of the realm, which was a shame because one of my spells was Summer Regrowth. My idea was to turn around, uh, regrow them, rally them, and then have them turn around. That's part of my game plan. Over here, I lost a knight from those archers. Nah, it's hey, 2 up armor saves. You're bound to roll some ones eventually. Over here, I was actually pretty happy with my peasants. I killed 2. He did more to me, but really the bulk of those wounds came from the flagellants in the side, which are frenzied and their strength 5 and stuff like that. So overall, I was actually happy with my peasants because all I wanted was at least 1 peasant remaining. So this way, so we're trying to line it up. He's like, okay, I'm going to run into your knights. I'm like, no, you're not. Center through center, and you're going to give chase. I'm not hitting my knights. I'm going easily a couple inches behind my knights. He goes, okay, I see that. So, but if it was the old 8th edition, he just would have went straight, and actually he would have been right into the side of the ground knights. And that's what he was hoping for, and I don't blame him. We did simply remove the hill just for ease of use at this point in time. And let's see. So I still have the Curse of Westerlies and Stone Skin. I do 1 wound to his wagon after he charges into my grails. He does nothing. I try to pursue. They get away. So here it is now, turn 4, Equitaine. So I'm like, all right, I've got a small unit, small lance. I have Spirit of the Wood. I was going to put Spirit of the Wood on the halberdiers, and this way they can't be steadfast. Charge in there with my knights, win that combat, overrun, break them, overrun, hit his unit there in the side, trapping down that kind of big hulky. It's not a Death Star unit, but it's just a big hulky. It's a strong unit. Meanwhile, I charged the Ground Knights into his bus there, and he actually did rally those 3 men because of his general and his BSB. So I charged into that thing that causes the -1, the distracting chariot. I'm just going to call it distracting chariot. He flees. Then I turn around and redirect into the 3 men. He flees again. I'm like, okay, I'm going to redirect back into my initial target. He's like, you can do that? I'm like, yep. The way they have it now is if you choose to now flee as a second charge reaction, I now have the choice as to who I actually am physically going to charge. So that was new to him. I'll word it like this. I failed. I rolled a 3. Whenever I needed movement, I rolled a 3. With him moving his dogs up the way he did, my peasant yeoman actually charged into the flank of those wolf riders, and sitting back behind the wall, holding down that flank is just a unit of peasants. All the action's going over on the other side. I did manage to rally my other unit of peasants, mounted yeomen, and my mage is just sitting back behind where that hill used to be so that she can't be targeted by the cannons. I actually won that combat. So I charged in the flank. Neither one of us are able to do a wound, but he's at -2 leadership. He turns around and he fled and got caught. So that's why you see that like that. And then over here, that's where his stuff ended up. So his 1 unit bounced through his crossbows. Crossbows love it. This other unit is right there. All I need is a 7. I roll 3 dice with Swiss Stride. I roll a 3. A 1, 1, and a 2. That was just true for the entire game. So I'm going, crap. I've got my flank exposed. I knew it was going to happen. And yeah, that's all I can say. So it's not looking pretty. In retrospect, it still was a smart play, but I could have gone into the front of the great swords and at least then had a chance. I would have done quite a bit of damage to the great swords. Yeah, they would have been stubborn. Would have just challenging out their heroes until finally they go away. But I would have stood a better chance. Over here, my general kills. So Curse of the Western Lilies goes away. He made all his armor saves that last round. And he ended up still losing combat, but again, stubborn. So this time, he turns around and he fails his armor saves. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to do my rolls. He actually made his ward saves, but because of Divine Icon, he fails his ward saves, so he had to re-roll them. So I kill his general. Even my horse put a wound on it. So it actually did a total of 4 wounds to his general. And I think I killed maybe one of those models. That unit didn't suffer any damage in return. Again, Stone Skin, saving my bacon. And that was that. So that unit actually breaks fleas and runs off the board. And I prepare to be charged by those demigryphs. Over here, I lost a knight on the one side. He lost 6 knights on that side. However, he still had steadfast. I needed to not take a wound, and I need to do 1 more wound to him. That was it. But still, I was pretty happy with that exchange. I was happy with how the knights performed. I needed my peasants in there, and unfortunately, all my peasants were dead. So he turns around, he does a reform, and that's how that looks. So he still has to do a leadership test, even though he's with steadfast and everything else, so that's fine. I maneuver the knights that way, so this way I can try to, if he runs in with them, with his demigryphs, I'll be able to turn around and just go wherever I need to go. So now it's turn 5. He does not charge in with his demigryphs. Do I have a picture? So he charges in with his great swords. The other unit's still locked in combat over there. And he chasts me up with his demigryphs. I'm like, wow, that's a good move. It's a real good move. Not what I was expecting. His flagellants at this point, I'm not sure why they're not going after my mage, my war machines, 4 points, but that's probably what I would have done, because my war machines, Equitaine war machines can't move, but he didn't. So so they're just kind of hunkered down. My mage is making sure that she's out of sight and too far for a long bomb charge, because she need to make sure she stays alive. She's saving my knights right now. And that's it. So again, there's that chaff look and everything else. My archers, I lose 2 archers to his crossbowmen. Over here in close combat, he does 2 wounds to my knights. I think I did a couple. I don't even think I did a couple wounds. No, I did do a few wounds to him, but not enough, and I ended up failing my break test and running away, and they get caught. This flower get caught. Why? Because I rolled another 3. Over here, Grail Knights, he doesn't wound, or he does a single wound to me, but I did a bunch of wounds back. However, he just mossed me up. I break again. I roll another 3. Catches me, Grail Knights are gone. So two lances are gone. My other 1 remaining lance is all chaffed up. So it's not looking too pretty for the Knights of Equitaine. However, on my turn, I do charge his demigryphs because I have to get rid of them. I charge into his crossbowmen, I'm hoping, because the general out, I'm going to win that combat, and they're going to flee. So there's that. I end up killing the demigryphs. Demigryph runs, and he'll eventually go off the board the following turn. I reposition them as such, because I really don't care if that chariot charges me in the flank, because I've got my banner, BSB, and ranks. So with a 2-up armor save and 5-up board save if it charges in, because I think it's strength 5 on the charge. So I'm not concerned. I've got that big important unit I need to go after. If he doesn't reform and I hit the flank, then of course I'm issuing challenges, stuff like that. They'll be stubborn, but I'll take my odds. I'll take my chances. So now it's turn 6. I do win that combat with the archers. However, he actually made his roll because he was steadfast. He had that long front rank. And so he does a combat reform there as well. Again, rolls his leadership. And he's going to end up charging into the flank of those poor archers with the militia. So it's just not looking pretty there. He does a reform with his great swords. And that was it. He ends up trying to shoot the one remaining unit of yeomen, and he pulls his archers back on the far side. Yeah, I actually make my armor save, and that's how the board looks now. So as I said, he moved up his little pump wagon. He did not take a dangerous terrain test because that did not march. It simply moved. All right. So over here, finally, his cannons are doing something. They do a grape shot. They managed to kill 3 of my knights with grape shot. It's strength 4 armor piercing. For some reason, I thought it was strength 5 armor piercing. Maybe it used to be. So that's how many knights I currently have left. So from the original 6, I have 3. For the bowman in that close combat, I lose all but 3 archers. So he kills 7 of my archers, and he goes pursue them. As you can tell, those are the old Bertrand Brigands, the original Bertrand Brigands with Robin Hood, Friar Tuck, and Little John. They actually do rally next turn. So I still get points for that unit. Very happy about that, and I thought it was very fitting that those 3 survived. Over here, I decide to charge into his archers over there. I'm like, why not? He stands and shoots, kills one of my horses. I make my panic test, so I get in, and I pass my dangerous terrain test as well. And as I said, he reformed, and I charged into his big bus, and I'm like, you know what? I got to go for it. It's the last turn, last player's phase. I have to try for points or something. And he's like, I'm surprised you actually did this. I did the close combat incorrectly. Well, first off, magic turn. We'll get close combat in a second. So magic phase goes off, and let's see what happens. I turn around. He stops Stone. Does he stop Stone Skin? No, I think I get Stone Skin off. He stops Blizzard and the West. Stops Blizzard, and I forget what other spell he put up there. But no, he does stop Stone Skin. And meanwhile, that unit there has Wilderness on them. I didn't care that he got Wilderness off. I didn't want that unit to have Frenzied. And with that said, is the reason why is it increases my ward save. You know, if they're strength 4, now they're strength 5. All right, I'm losing 1 armor, but I'm gaining 1 ward, and the 4-5 is better than a 3-6. At least from my perspective. Don't tell me the odds. Just in my perspective, that was my mindset. And again, I was trying for points. I had to do something. I didn't want to sit back and do nothing. There's that charge. So now we're on to close combats. You see 2 extra knights. I get off the raising spell, so I was able to put 2 knights back up there because I rolled a 5. So that was so it's D3 plus 1, so it's 4. So that's why I get 2 knights back. Of course, I have to issue a challenge. They eat his unit champ because my last Grail Knight failed to eat his unit champ. I was hoping for one of those characters, and I did 3 wounds plus 1 for an overkill, and he did 2 wounds to my knights when all was said and done, and that's it. So again, 4 wounds total to me, 1 rank, banner, BSB. I think he only lost by like 1 or 2. So, but it's steadfast. It's stubborn. I knew that going in. So his leadership though is 8. That's his highest leadership now in his army. So there's his first roll of 665. He's like, well, my BSB is right there. All right, let's roll it again. And he got his spell off to allow them to roll 3 dice for their leadership test. Next roll, 544. So finally the dice gods came back at him after giving me so many 3s on the board, gave him those high rolls again. And literally it was just bad luck. I mean, there's no typically that I'd say 9 times out of 10 that unit's going to stay there, but they fled and were run down actually by the Knights of Equitaine. So I get points for that entire. And I forgot to do my MVPs. All right, so for the MVPs, right now it's got to be my level 2 mage. It ends up being a 600-point victory. So I don't know what like the war score is, but 600 point victory for Knights of Equitaine, mainly because of that last combat there. That really got me a lot of points there. And if not, it was still a close game. It was a fun game. I think both Dan and I were definitely having fun this game. So 600 point swings. My Grail Damsel with Stone Skin kept that one unit basically untouchable the entire game, and that's it. That's why she's getting my MVP. For him, that stupid wagon. Without that stupid wagon, I would have been doing a lot more wounds because all of a sudden my knights, which need 4s, now need 5s. So it's to me, it was that wagon. His halberdiers would be a close second, taken out on the unit of knights and the peasants. And that's it. So overall, just a great fun game. Sorry for those 2 blank slides, which is why we're stuck on this one. Complete oversight by me. And hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll be doing another one here shortly. Bye.